Have you ever been in a scenario where you learned something that first caused you to stop dead in your tracks before giving you the want to fight or flee? Welcome to USA Stories channel. Do not forget to subscribe and activate the bell button to receive all new updates. Now let's go to the story. A young mother experienced just that when she heard an odd groaning sound on the baby monitor. Seeking the source of the unsettling noise, she dashed inside the nursery. When she went into the nursery to find out what had occurred, she was taken aback by what she found. Like any other infatuated couple, Roy and Benita made the decision to publicly announce their love for one another and tie the knot. One of the many commonalities between Roy and Benita was that they had always desired to start a family of their own. They saw marriage as the first step toward realizing their common goal of starting a family and filling their home with kids. They used to spend hours discussing what it would be like to have children. Benita and Roy made the decision to try for children shortly after being married in order to realize their goals of having a large family and a home full of youngsters. Soon after they began trying, Benita received the amazing news that she was expecting a child. When the pregnancy test proved positive, she was ecstatic. The idea that her wishes were coming true and that she would become a mother filled her with joy. The following moment was much more sad because of her delight. Regretfully, Benita's pregnancy did not go as planned for her and Roy. Rather, they encountered a circumstance that no aspirational parent ought to ever encounter. Benita gave birth to a premature baby who sadly passed away. Benita's dream of becoming a mother was tragically dashed. She and Roy persevered despite having to deal with the incredibly challenging feelings that accompany losing a child. Benita and Roy did not give up trying to conceive even after losing their first child. Not long after Benita's first child died, she learned she was expecting another. She was overjoyed and ecstatic to have the chance to become a mother once more. Benita's tummy began to swell gradually, and her excitement about realizing her goal of a large family intensified. She believed, at least, that she would become a mother. Roy and Benita were more and more eager to become parents over the course of the months. Sadly, the young family was hit by misfortune again, and this time the baby was born prematurely and did not survive, leaving the prospective parents deeply distraught. Benita and Roy suffered greatly during Benita's second miscarried pregnancy. Even though they were anticipating becoming parents to a small child and had grown excited about the prospect, they persisted. When Benita became pregnant a third time, the child was born too soon and tragically did not survive. After 3 separate pregnancies, Benita and Roy had high aspirations, but each time tragedy struck, shattering their dreams. The loss of their babies devastated the parents. They had both participated in the expectation that their family's dream would come true, and they now had to cope with the anguish of having their hopes dashed. The loss of their third child affected Benita and Roy as well. They believed that their aspirations to start a family would never materialize. Benita believed that a baby could only fill the void in her heart. She had dreamed of caring for and nurturing a child for as long as she could remember, and she had come dangerously near to realizing this goal 3 times. It was amid this depressing period that something very unexpected occurred. At one time in her life, Benita thought that the emptiness in her heart could only be filled by a baby. She had given up on life, but then something unexpected happened, and Midnight entered Roy and her lives. Adorable and small, Midnight was a stray kitten. The grieving couple's maternal instincts took over as soon as they lay eyes on the small critter, and they realized he needed assistance. They needed to save his life. Midnight was rather young and frail when the couple found him. They expressed concerns about whether he would be able to survive on his own. Though it seemed that Midnight needed them to survive, it turned out that they needed Midnight just as much as Midnight needed them. The couple got the chance to adore something the same way they would if it were their child. They had no idea how much they would come to depend on Midnight in the future. Benita could feel the emptiness gradually beginning to fill as she started to tend to Midnight. Midnight clearly needed someone to take care of him. Benita began to feel better about not being able to have children of her own as she rose to the occasion. Midnight had grown into the child they had never known. The cat was cherished and treated like one of their own. A miracle occurred after they gave up trying for a child and began to feel compelled to take care of the cat. And to give up on having a human kid when they began to love the cat as their child. They had accepted this choice, which is why Benita's discovery that she was pregnant once more took her by surprise. The couple was overjoyed to hear the unexpected news. Simultaneously, it filled them with terror. What would be different this time around that Benita had failed to deliver a baby 3 times? Though the expectant mother knew the baby's chances of surviving the full-term pregnancy were minimal, she still prayed with all of her might that it would. Her 3 miscarriages taught her to plan for the worst and keep a careful eye on her enthusiasm. She was aware of the dangers of an unfulfilled pregnancy, but she had never given up on her desire to become a mother and have a child. So she made the decision to give it another go. Benita made extra precautions to be extremely cautious as the months went by without any complications with the pregnancy. Every doctor's appointment would be eagerly anticipated by the pair, who would erupt in little tears whenever the session revealed positive news. After every favorable checkup with the doctor, Benita started to feel a little more hopeful and eager about becoming a mother. Maybe this time the baby would make it through, and she could finally begin her family-building journey. At last, Benita brought her pregnancy to term with ease and success. When Benita gave birth to a newborn girl who was in wonderful health, Roy and Benita were overjoyed. They chose to give their infant the name Stacy. They were overjoyed to welcome a healthy baby girl because they had been waiting so long for this opportunity. After enduring a great deal of pain, they were at last ready to embrace their young daughter. The only thing on their minds was what would happen to Midnight. Benita thought Stacy was a real miracle child, but Midnight had been the couple's sole child up until now. Midnight didn't need to share his love with anyone because they'd given him all of their love and care. The parents couldn't wait to take their little one home from the hospital when it came time to depart. They were excited, but they were also a little worried about how Midnight would respond to this new baby in his domain. Fortunately, Midnight got along with Stacy right away and didn't have any issues. There was no need for the pair to be concerned. Midnight's love and acceptance of Stacy were obvious. In reality, Midnight started acting as Stacy's bodyguard. He would watch over Stacy all day and all night. Midnight was with the infant wherever he was. They shared a room even for their sleep. That Roy and Benita's 2 kids got along so well made them very happy. Stacy was unwell when she was just 6 weeks old. Still very cautious, Benita made the quick decision to take Stacy to the doctor based on her past health problems. The health of the infant was her top focus. When the doctor assured Benita not to worry, her entire body relaxed in relief. All Stacy had was a cold, which is quite common for infants her age. She didn't need to worry, the doctor reassured her. That's what they believed, at least. Benita made the decision to have supper with her folks. Spending time with her family and allowing her parents to develop a loving bond with their granddaughter was something she was looking forward to. Stacy was put to bed in her crib earlier than usual since she was still unwell. Midnight trailed closely following as usual. Benita, being the conscientious mother that she was, set the baby monitor to sleep and let Stacy sleep while she spent time with her parents. Roy, Benita, and her parents were having a good talk. Abruptly, a startling noise emanated from the nursery. Everyone instantly stopped chatting and focused on listening intently, attempting to identify the source of the noise. It appeared as though the odd noise was really the baby monitor moaning. When panic struck, Benita hurried to the nursery to investigate the source of the unsettling noise. It was then that she made an unforgettable discovery. Midnight was wailing into the baby monitor when Benita burst into the room. This was quite weird behavior, and it made Benita even more anxious. She was astonished to see Stacy peacefully sleeping in the crib. Stacy was having trouble breathing and had started to turn blue. Upon witnessing her daughter's struggle, Benita was immediately filled with anxiety and concern, believing that she would lose her beloved child in the same manner that she had lost her other 3 daughters. The family went into survival mode, and Stacy was hurried to the nearest hospital by Roy, Benita, and her parents. Upon arrival, they were informed of the devastating news that worries all parents. Stacy had succumbed to complete respiratory failure. Fortunately, Stacy's life was spared by the medical professionals, and she went on to become the second miraculous baby. The family was quite relieved, but they couldn't help but wonder what may have happened if they hadn't managed to get Stacy to the hospital. Although Stacy miraculously lived, she came dangerously close to death. The medical staff informed Benita that Stacy would not have survived and the family would have lost their little daughter if they had arrived at the hospital a few minutes sooner. In Roy and Benita's opinion, Midnight is a hero. Had he not begun wailing into the baby monitor, his daughter might not have survived and they would not have been able to detect her breathing difficulties. Forever, Benita will be appreciative to Midnight for entering their house that evening in search of a place to dwell. The little cat not only helped her get through a trying period by being a comforting presence in her life, but it also acted as Stacy's guardian angel and saved her life. Midnight, in Roy's opinion, will always remain Stacy's hero. The family will always be appreciative to their devoted cat for taking care of her when she needed him the most. Please remember to subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos. If you enjoyed the tale, the next video that plays on your screen will probably move you too.